Nedu Care Foundation in Nigeria says, finding things hard, finding non-profit in the Western world to support our charity in Nigeria. Any recommendations would help. Thanks for the question. I've got 3 things that I think can really help you out, but I'm going to actually share them across 3 separate videos. So this will be the first one, and in this one, we're talking about focusing on your current donors. Let's go. Nedu Care Foundation, thank you so much for your comment. The first thing I wanted to do is just congratulate you firstly on getting your not-for-profit status through and becoming a fully fledged non-profit, which is very exciting. Really great to see what you're doing already, that you have a real heart for kids, that you're trying to provide food and education for kids in Nigeria, that you have a real heart for what you're trying to do, and that really shows. But you're in the same situation as everybody. You need money for the mission. Okay, so the first thing I want to touch on is the concept that I'm distilling essentially from the teachings of Seth Godin. Seth Godin has written 19 books on marketing, most of which are bestsellers, and he's not the only one to promote this idea, but I think he articulates it really, really well, and that is the concept of going deep and not wide. The messaging that I see on your website is very much the same as most not-for-profits and charities working in this kind of area. It's, we have a great cause, please support us. Images of starving children and children that look like they're very poor, and you're trying to pull the heartstrings of people in order to get them to donate. And there is a constant chasing for new donors. Not saying that you shouldn't do that, but the mistake that people make is they forget to really look at the donors who have already supported them. And the way that he phrases that is by looking for your smallest viable audience. What is the smallest number of people that you can actually reach that could make a difference for you right now? And it's often smaller than we think. And if we focus our efforts on finding that smallest viable audience and looking after them and making the experience so exceptional for them, they are generally going to be compelled, so moved by that they're going to talk about it, and they become your advocates and the people that help grow the reach. Dean Jackson, one of the world's greatest marketers, calls this an N of 1 study. So this is the idea that you do it for one person, you test it, you get it right, then you can do it for 10 people, you test it, you get it right, then you can do it for 100, then you know you can scale because you actually have worked it out, and that takes time. There's another really great concept by a guy called Kevin Kelly, and it's on his website called The Technicum, and I'll link that up in the description below. But it's this concept of 1,000 true fans. The idea that if you had 1,000 people who would give you $100 a year, you've just generated a $100,000 a year income. But that always starts with 1. But what does that mean, and how can you do that? It's just great in theory, so let's talk about some practical things. Dean also talks about the idea that no matter what you're selling, whether it's a product or a service, or in your case, a cause, that people are always being asked to exchange money for an outcome. So think about that. You're not asking them to just donate to give to your cause. They are looking for an outcome that personally affects them. And again, we can back this up with the research that you saw in the video that I did about volunteering. People volunteered because it made them feel useful. Yes, they were being used for someone else's outcomes, but they gave their time because it made them personally feel useful. And people donate their money for much the same reason. People are always focused on themselves. They might give to a good cause, but they really are doing it because of how it makes them feel for themselves. They do it because it makes them feel good. And that's where most charities stop, and they don't ask the next question, which is, what does it make them feel good about? So the first place to start is with the people who have already donated. Talk to them, get to know them, dig deeper with them, and find out what it was that compelled them to give. Find out more about what it is that they feel good about when they give, so that you can start to use that type of communication on your website, in your posts, on social media, and in the way that you email and talk about what it is that you do, because that's going to help attract more people like them. So go deep and not wide. Yes, you still need to promote for new donors, but focus more effort on those donors who have already given to you, so that they will be additional voices talking about what it is that you do and bringing people into the fold. There you go. Thanks very much. I definitely recommend that you watch this video next, because that's a little bit more about marketing as well. Cheers.